today we are going to see here the beta function and the proof of the properties of a beta function. All these proofs are not possible to complete in today's session. So, so, so we are going to complete few of the properties here, and one or two properties, whatever we left, like duplication formula and second form of a beta function. Okay, duplication formula and second form of a beta function. These two proofs probably we'll see in the next session then. Okay, so right now let me come to the definition first. What is a beta function? So like we discussed about the gamma function. In gamma we said uh, when we integrate integral of this type, integral 0 to infinity e raised to minus x raised to n minus 1 dx, we're left with some function of n only, and that function of n we denote as a gamma, like gamma of n. So this is our definition for gamma function. If you observe in gamma, gamma is a function of single variable, and that variable is n, and that n is generally greater than 0, sorry, greater than 1. Okay, because n equal to 0, gamma does not exist there. So that about the gamma function. Gamma is a function of single variable. Right now we have a definition for a beta function, which is on the screen here. The definition says, yes, when we integrate the integral of this type, integral 0 to 1 x raised to m minus 1 into 1 minus x raised to n minus 1 dx, we're left with some function of m comma n, and this function of m comma n is denoted by the beta notation. So we denote here as a beta m comma n. So beta mn is the notation. Just we can calculate the value of beta mn by the formula, and that formula is here, that relation between beta and gamma function. So first of all, whenever the integral is of the form 0 to 1 and integral contains the algebraic term, yes, that example can be solved by a beta function. And once you get a beta form, beta actually depend on the gamma, so beta we have to convert into the gamma form, and we know already how to get the values of gamma m and gamma n with the help of that property, which is a gamma m is equal to gamma n plus 1 is n factorial, like that. So we'll see the example. That time you'll get more idea or clear idea about how to use this beta function and the gamma function to get the values of integral. So what is the thing that you should remember? Definition only. This is only the important thing that you have to by heart. You have to remember. Again, beta exists for m and n greater than 0 mainly. Okay, so that about generally it is not exist for negative integer like a gamma. Otherwise it exists for positive integer plus positive fractions also on the fractions there. Let me come to the properties now. The properties of the beta function. The first property says beta is a symmetric function. That means if we change m to n and n to m, so if we interchange mn, the value of a beta function remains same. That we have to prove it here. That is the first property. Second property. The second property is known as a trigonometric form of a beta function. This beta function original form is algebraic form. This form is a trigonometric form. In the third property, actually we are saying here that this is actually not a property. Actually this is the same property is converted like that, and this is mainly used to solve numericals. Okay, to solve numerical we use the third property. So third property generally never come for the proof. It just we are going to solve the examples where 0 to pi by 2 sin raised to p theta cos raised to q theta d theta is there. Okay, such a integrals we can evaluate by a beta. So this third property mainly comes for the solving example. And lastly, today we are going to prove the relation between beta and gamma. So these are the four properties. We are going to complete it one by one. Can anyone tell me, is there any other method we learned to solve this integral?
Yes, sir. So there was a formula.
Wallis formula.
Okay, correct. Okay, yes, all you are correct. So it's a Wallis formula, but now there is one difference, that this integral can be done by Wallis formula and beta function provided this p and q are integer. P and q are greater than 1. Okay, p and q are greater than 1 and they are integer. Like their pq should be 1 or 2 or 3. Sorry, it start with 2 only. 2 or 3 or 4 or so on. So that time the Wallis formula is applicable. But remember, whenever p and q are not greater than 1 or they are not integer, so when p and q are fraction, so pq belongs to the real number except negative integer, like p and q should not be, this p and q should not be 0, should not be -1, should not be -2, should not be -3, and so on. So only at these values, this integral not exist there. Otherwise, for any fractional value, these integral we can evaluate with the help of a beta function. So beta function is a more general formula. This formula is applicable to each and every values of p and q except at these negative values, because their beta and gamma does not exist. Beta and gamma does not exist there. Because of that, the value of that integral is not defined itself there. Okay, so we'll see one by one and we'll see the example. That time it becomes more clear that. So we'll start the properties now. Note down first property. Show that beta of mn is equal to beta of nm. You can write, show that beta of mn is equal to beta of nm. So the proof. Now what is the thing that in our hands? So that's only the definition. So by definition, beta of mn is the integral 0 to 1 x raised to m minus 1 into 1 minus x raised to n minus 1 dx. And this integral now we have to convert to beta n comma m. So what should be the substitution? What should be the substitution here? I'm not getting any answer here.
Sir, 1 minus x is equals to t?
Very good. Yes, you are correct. So some student generally says m is replaced by n. So actually that is not correct, because that only we have to prove it. Okay. So whatever the substitution selected, that is correct. So substitution should be, let 1 minus x should be t. So the value of x becomes 1 minus t. So which things we require here? See, x we have to replace. So we got 1 minus t. 1 minus x is the t, we got it. We want dx also. So let me find the dx. So dx equal to, what is the value?
Minus dt.
Minus dt.
What about the limits now? Is the limit remains same?
Yes, sir.
No, not correct.
Opposite हो जाएगा I mean.
Opposite हो जाएगा.
हाँ.
So limit of x is 0 to 1. When x is
This वाली
0,
property
it
like
becomes
this.
1 and that becomes a 0. So beta mn will become, therefore beta mn becomes integral 1 to 0 1 minus t raised to m minus 1 into t raised to n minus 1, and here is a minus dt. Now here is one important property we are using of a definite integral. Here is a minus sign, and this minus sign we use to change the order of limit. Okay, we merge it here to change the order of limit. So we are going to rewrite it like 0 to 1, which we want actually. Then t raised to n minus 1, this term I am writing first, and 1 minus t raised to m minus 1 as a second, and this is only dt now. It is not minus dt, because minus sign we use to change the order. What will be the value of this integral? By definition, it is a beta of n comma m, and that's the proof. Any doubt, anyone?
Sir, we have to mention that property?
No need. Actually, these proofs are coming for 2 marks only, and whatever we written on the screen, only that part if you write it in the exam, you will get full marks there, 2 out of 2 there.
Okay, sir.
No need to mention the reasons. It is understood that you are using some properties there. So whatever you write, that should be logically correct mainly. So if you finish that, tell me so that we can move to the next property then.
Done, sir.
Done. Can I erase?
Yes, sir.
So second property, it is known as a trigonometric form. It is a trigonometric form of a beta function. So we have to prove this is a trigonometric form of a beta function. So we'll start with the main form and we convert the main definition in a trigonometric form. So by definition, beta mn is the integral 0 to 1 x raised to m minus 1 into 1 minus x raised to n minus 1 dx. So what should be the substitution which gives us a trigonometric form now? Can you observe and think for substitution?
Sir, the
X is
formula of
equal to
cos 2
sine
theta
square
can be used.
theta.
Triple one only. Triple one, Ankur. Yes,
Sir, the formula of cos 2 theta can be used.
not correct. Next.
Sir, x is equal to sine square theta.
Correct. That's straightforward. You'll observe here. Power of sine is in terms of m. X की power भी m में है. So if you replace x equal to sine square theta, you'll get the required result there. So whatever the answer given by Ankur, actually you are trying to reach from that given to the main definition. So that is okay, but right now I'm asking from definition to that second form. So here the substitution we should use as, let x equal to sine square theta. If we are going to replace x by sine square theta, what will the value of 1 minus x? It's a cos square theta.
Cos square theta.
What is the value of a dx? 2 sine theta cos theta d theta. And the last important thing about a limit. The variable that we have is x and we selected the new variable as a theta. Limit for x 0 to 1. What is the sine inverse 0 now? When x is 0, what is sine inverse 0?
0.
0
Sine inverse of 1?
pi by 2.
Pi by
Pi
2.
by 2. Correct. And that gives us a required limits then 0 to pi by 2. Therefore, this integral beta mn will become. So beta mn integral will become, it's a 0 to pi by 2. Value of x is a sine square theta. So sine square theta raised to m minus 1. Value of 1 minus x is a cos square theta. So this is cos square theta raised to n minus 1, and value of a dx is a 2 sine theta cos theta d theta. That about the replacement only. And next step should be the required answer, and you can check, yes, that is a required answer there. So you will observe this 2 is a constant. We'll write it first as it is. This is sine raised to 2m minus 2. 2m minus 2, but here is plus 1. So it become required power sine raised to 2m minus 1 theta into cos raised to 2n minus 1 theta d theta, and that's a required trigonometric form of a beta function. Yes, later on we are going to use this result to prove that gamma half is a root pi. Correct. 149. So that is the end of the proof here. We got a trigonometric form of a beta function. The important thing is a correct substitution, and that is x equal to sine square theta.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, why it is not 2m minus 2?
2m minus 1 is correct, na? Here is a
Got it,
2m
sir.
minus
Sir,
2
got it.
plus 1. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it.
So everything is combined and written the final. Actually, one step I dropped. You are getting dx from this differentiation. What is x? X is sine square theta. Derivative of x is a dx. So derivative of sine square theta is a 2 sine theta into derivative of sine theta is cos theta d theta. Clear? 109. So it is a chain rule of derivative 2 sine theta cos theta d theta. That's the value of dx from this step. Any doubt other than this?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I could not understand the last step, sir.
Last step is just collecting the powers of sine and cosine together. Nothing
Yes,
is done
sir.
there.
But what happened to 2 sine theta cos theta?
That's only now. What is this? What is this power? First, tell me. What is this simplification? Sine raised to. Tell me. What is that power?
Sine 2m minus 1
How
theta.
2m minus
2m
1?
minus
2m
2.
minus 2.
Yes, yes.
Into sine theta करोगे तो कौन सी power मिलेगी? Is that this one?
Sir, yes.
So it is written directly. Na? I am saying that only. Just we added that power together. Can we move to the next then?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here is a third property. Generally, this property never come for the proof. I already told that this property is coming to solve. We mainly this property we are going to use to solve the numericals later on. So let I write the proof of this property. The proof is just by the trigonometric form. We can start with by trigonometric form. By trigonometric form, integral 0 to pi by 2 times sine raised to 2m minus 1 theta into cos raised to 2n minus 1 theta d theta is a beta mn. This is by trigonometric form of a beta function. Yes, can anyone tell me what should be the way to get the required result now? Just compare.
सर 2m minus 1 को p plus 1 में
Correct.
देंगे.
Very 2m minus 1 is equal to p only, na? This one. We should get sine raised to p theta.
हाँ sorry
Yes,
हाँ yeah.
correct. So let 2m minus 1 is a p and 2n minus 1 equal to q. So just we are converting from one variable, one constant to another notation of a constant. So indirectly we got m. So we got a value of m as a p plus 1 upon 2 and the value of n as a q plus 1 upon 2. If we replace that, we get the required answer. This 2 is a constant. Or I will write like this: 0 to pi by 2 times sine raised to p theta cos raised to q theta d theta is a beta p plus 1 upon 2 q plus 1 upon 2, and the next step after this is the required answer. Only this 2 is taken common and that shifted this side. You have the required answer. That is integral 0 to pi by 2 sine raised to p theta into cos raised to q theta d theta is 1 by 2 times beta p plus 1 upon 2 q plus 1 upon 2. That's the answer. Any doubt there?
No, sir.
So can we move to the last property for the today?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is the last property. We are going to prove it from the beta. There are two more properties. We'll see the proof of that two properties in the next session. So right now, the fourth property that we have to prove here, that is known as the relation between beta and gamma function. This property is relation between beta and gamma function. And we have to prove beta mn is gamma m into gamma n divided by gamma m plus n. This one we have to prove it. Actually, this proof is not so difficult, but it is a tricky. You should know where to start. Okay, we are going to start the proof from this RHS, and we are going to start the proof from this gamma m into gamma n, like that. So consider gamma m into gamma n. So we are going to find this value. Yes, obviously we have to prove now it is a gamma m plus n into beta mn, that we have to prove it there. Another important thing that you should remember is the proof is mainly based on second definition of a gamma function. Can anyone tell me the second definition of gamma m? Yes, what is the value of a gamma
Sir,
m by?
n into gamma n.
Yes,
N into gamma n.
not correct. That is not a second definition. I am asking.
Sir, 2 into integration of 0 to infinity.
Okay, 2 into integration 0 to
Infinity.
is it a 0 to infinity there? Yeah, correct.
E power minus x square. X to the power 2n minus 1.
Very good. Correct. Nice. So this is the value of, but right now I am writing gamma m. So it should be okay. So I return the value of a gamma m by using a second definition. Now same thing I will do it. I will write the value of this gamma n. Value of this gamma n by a second definition. So into 2 times integral 0 to infinity. Now we know this inner variable is a dummy variable. You can write any variable inside. So I'll write e raised to minus y square y raised to 2n minus 1 dy. So this is a main step. This step is a very important step. If you click this step, yeah, you can do the remaining proof because there is no difficulty in the remaining steps there. The first step is mainly the tricky, and that hint you should remember. You have to start with the second definition of a gamma function. Any doubt in the first step written, whatever the first step we written here?
No, sir.
Okay. Now this 2 into 2 become directly that 4. Can anyone tell me what can be done here? What can be done with these two integral? There are same limits, but the multiplication, 2 multiplication integral can be converted into
Addition.
not addition. If there is addition, if there is plus, yes, you can add that integrands there. This is not addition, actually it becomes a double integral. It become a double integral now. Base is the same, so it become e raised to minus x square minus y square. Remaining terms as it is, x raised to 2m minus 1, y raised to 2n minus 1, and dx dy. So what happened? This gamma m into gamma n becomes the double integration now. This is a double integration, and now the last thing is left here, and that is again that important thing you should know. Yes, how to evaluate this double integral? Can anyone?
Polar, sir. Polar.
That's
polar
very
form.
good. As the exponential power is x square plus y square there, minus if you take common, it indicates we should
minus r square.
Yes, we should move to the polar form. So what is the region of integration? Tell me.
0 to pi by
0
2.
to 1 and 0 to pi by 2.
Okay, 0 to 1 and 0 to pi by 2, and that's again good thing. Not 0 to 1. 0 to 1 is not correct. So if you observe the region of integration,
0 to minus 1.
not correct.
0 to r, 0 to r, 0 to r.
Not correct. If this
0 to
x-axis, this is y-axis, the region of integration is X is from 0 to infinity, y is from 0 to infinity. So the region is
0 to infinity.
First quadrant.
entire first quadrant there, because here is y axis is x equal to 0 and x axis is y equal to 0. So x is 0 to infinity, y is 0 to infinity, that is entire first quadrant. Now to get a limit, we take a strip along radial. This is the radial strip there. And if you observe, the lower end touches to r equal to 0. The upper end doesn't have any limit there. So it's 0 to infinity, and theta is obviously 0 to pi by 2. So if we are going to transform this double integral from Cartesian to the polar, the next step, this next step will become 4 as it is. It's a 0 to pi by 2. It's a 0 to infinity e raised to minus r
Minus
square.
r square.
Value of x,
R cos theta.
r cos theta raised to 2m minus 1. Value of y, r sin theta raised to 2n minus 1. And the value of dx dy is r
R
square
dr d theta.
d theta. That's one. So this is just transformed from Cartesian to the polar. Cartesian to the polar. Now a second last step, this double integral, again we have to split into the single integrals. Let me write the integral of r separately and the integral of theta separately. Can anyone tell me what will be the terms for the integral r? So I'll write 0 to infinity. Yes, which are the terms we have here? E raised to
Minus r square.
minus r square, r raised to,
R.
now this is
R
the
2m minus 2m minus 1.
2m minus 1 plus 2n minus 1
2m
plus
minus
1. So 2 times m plus n minus 1. Can I write like this? Check. See, r raised to 2m minus 1 plus 2n minus 1. So 2m plus 2n minus 2. Minus 2 and this is raised to plus 1. So this is only left. Clear? You can just add separately. 2m minus 1 plus 2n minus 1 plus 1. And what about the limit of this is terms of trigonometry now? 0 to pi by 2. Cos raised to
2m minus 1.
2m minus 1 theta. I will erase this term right now. Into sine raised to d theta. That's only. What is missing now? Still some term we not written.
So 2 give 2
Yes,
2 2.
that's 4 is there, and that we have to split up. 1 2
Two.
I will write it here. Another 2 I will write it here. And now tell me, what is the value of this first term? What is the value of this integral?
Sir, gamma m plus 1 m plus n.
Gamma m plus n. Again by second definition. Here we use this second definition. Okay, gamma m we written here like this. It is a gamma m plus n. And what is this value? Trigonometric form of a beta. So this gives us gamma m into gamma n is nothing but gamma m plus n into beta m, and that is the nothing but its a required answer. Next step is the required proof. So you may confuse here, confuse in trigonometric form. In trigonometric form, you observe 0 to pi by 2, sine raised to 2m minus 1 into cos raised to 2n minus 1 is there. But we know the beta is a symmetric function. It is actually beta n comma m, but beta nm is beta mn. Both are same. We seen the in first proof only. Is that clear? So there are two important tricky steps. Step number 1, we start with gamma m into gamma n, where we use a second definition of a gamma. Next, we convert into double integral and transform it to the polar. So these are the two important things you should know. Then remaining calculations are simple.
Sir, shouldn't that be gamma of R because